Welcome to the Library Connection. I'm Tracy Thomas, the director at the B.B. Comer Library, and we want to thank you so much for joining us today. Each week on the Library Connection, we love to share information with you about things that are going on at the library, things that are going on around town. And at the library, our mission is to educate, enrich, and entertain. And one of the things that we love so much about this TV show, and we're so grateful to TV 47 for, is that this medium allows us to bring you those things that help us to fulfill our mission. So thank you for joining us, and thank you to TV 47 for allowing us this opportunity each week to come to you. Today we've got an exciting show. We've got Dr. Shirley Spears with us, and she doesn't need a lot of introduction because she's such a familiar face, but Dr. Spears is the former director of the library after 33 years, and now she is working with the programming aspect of the library through the Library Foundation. And Dr. Spears is several years ago, I don't know how many years ago it was we started brown bag programs, but many years ago Dr. Spears had an idea that we could offer these brown bag programs at the library, and it would be a way to bring people together, and you would give them a few minutes to maybe bring a sack lunch and have a sandwich, and the library would provide the desserts and the drinks. And you know, the program, it was one of those blessings where you get more than you ever expected you'd get. And you know, we had the library, had not been renovated at the time, and we were doing brown bag programs upstairs. And that's when Dr. Spears kind of started looking around saying, you know what, I think we're going to need a bigger place to program one day. So when I think about brown bag, I always think about this was kind of the thing that spurred us to realize, hey, we needed a bigger library. Right. So you're here with us today to talk about our winter 2018 series that we're ready to start in just a week or so. If you're at home watching and you say, you know, I wish I had one of those programs, the programs just went out in the mail. They went out in the mail at the end of last week, so you should be getting one soon if you're on our mailing list. If you're not on our mailing list, we'd love to put you on the mailing list, and you can call us at the library at 256-249-0961, and we'll be glad to add you to that list. But on top of that, you can access this whole schedule on our website. So without any further ado, I want to turn it over to you, Dr. Spears, because you've worked with these, you've scheduled these, you talked to these people, and you know exactly what you've got in mind, what they're going to do when they come. So thank you for being with us.
Well, Tracy, it's so much fun. It is fun to schedule. It really is. It's really, really hard work to make it all come together. You do 8, and you have to make them sort of patchwork quilt style. But it is a lot of fun, and I'm thinking about what you said about the rooms upstairs, and I think it's odd how God works in mysterious ways, because first we had to demonstrate to our community that we had a big library, but we had to demonstrate to our community, I think, that we really needed more space to do what we wanted to do, which was to have cultural arts programs, but also to be able to put 300 kids in the floor in that auditorium. So that auditorium has been a blessing to us, and I think about Mr. Harry, he helped us with that. I think about him just about every day of my life, and he and Miss Goff, you know, brought that major library about, and then later we renovated. So we're blessed to have that facility.
Well, I believe that the story that stands out the most in my mind, and we've told it so many times, you may have heard it, but we were programming in the room upstairs that was designed to hold about 60 people.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we first started with brown bags, we would say, oh, I hope one day we can fill this room up. You know, I hope we can fill this room up with 60 people. And
ate lunch in there.
We ate lunch in there. You had, you know, your tables. People were at tables and chairs. And it was a great room. And we were thankful we had that room. But the programs started getting bigger and bigger, and the audiences started getting bigger and bigger. And then we had to take 2 rooms in and kind of do lunch in one room, and then move everybody into the program area. And one day we had, I believe it was former Governor Albert Brewer was there that day.
One of those good guys.
And he was there, and we had so many people, everybody couldn't get in the room, and it was standing room only. And I remember Donna Dickey walked to the door and had to start turning people away, because there was about 90 people in the room standing around and sitting in chairs. And I think that was when the light bulb went off, that it's time to build something a little bit bigger to accommodate these wonderful programs.
Well, I think it has been an interesting journey, and I think we really started the lunch thing about 94, so that's over 20 years ago. And so it has been very successful. It's kind of a brand for the B.B. Comer Library, because you never really get in touch with anybody to do a program for you that they're not glad to come to Sylacauga to do a program, because they know about the series. And I've had many people at state level organizations say this is the premier venue for programs in the state of Alabama, and I think that's quite a compliment to our staff and to everybody, our sponsors, and to the people that come, because they like our audience.
I think, Dr. Spears, that's the reason that you're able to get the caliber of presenter that you get, is because the reputation is already established.
It is.
People know that Dr. Spears has a wonderful sponsor for this program, and I'll let you talk about our sponsors. We've got two that really help us so much, and I'll let you talk about that in a minute. But these presenters know that Dr. Spears has done the work and gotten sponsors, and they know that when they come, there's going to be a nice audience there. They're not going to waste their time coming to Sylacauga.
Well, it is a wonderful thing with the Southwest Bank sponsoring, and also the Coosa Valley Medical Center's Hickory Street Cafe helps us out some, and then we have a lot of volunteers. But I want to quickly, I like talking about the series about as much as I do about the presenters, but just plowing into what we're about to do, we generally start with music if we can, and so Buddy Simpkins is the nicest man in the world, and he always helps us to bring in somebody really good. And you have what they call the historic black musicians out of Birmingham, and so they're coming back. Buddy's got them scheduled the 17th of January, and they'll be kicking off with something called Our Stories in Music and Song, which fits our theme, which is These Are Our Stories. And so we're glad to have Cleve Eaton coming back on bass. He's just renowned. I mean, he's known throughout the world really as one of the best. He's older now and retired in Birmingham. Bo Berry, same way. Bo's in the Music Hall of Fame, as is Cleve. And so they're just the best musicians that you could ever bring out. And because of Buddy and his contacts, and he's still busy and plays with the Heritage Band, Hall Band, and does things, he stays in touch with these musicians. I couldn't do it without Buddy's help. They're bringing some new artists this time. We have Cho Aiken, and Cho is an Asian lady, and she will be doing the piano. She is going to play our little piano, our little baby grand piano, and she's excited about that. She's really a wonderful musician who's trained, really highly trained. And then we have a new vocalist, and her name is Tina Wilson. Tina has taught for years at the Homewood, I believe it's the Homewood Vocal Institute. Anyway, it's a place in Birmingham where people who take voice go. So she's renowned in her field, and so she's going to be doing the vocals. They have a repertoire of things that they'll be doing. They'll be doing R&B, jazz, they'll be doing some gospel probably. We've asked for them to do some gospel. So we're really happy about being able to kick off with people who are well known in their fields. These ladies have played with the Alabama Symphony Orchestra. They're really good. So I expect that to be a grand day for us.
Well, you know, there are 8 programs in each of our brown bag series. And so just hearing the first description of this one, you can tell that the series is going to be a great series. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hear about the other 7 programs in the brown bag series.
Hi, it's Shawnee McNeil at Southwest Bank. This is a great time for you to buy or build a new home, or maybe refinance your present mortgage. Our rates are the lowest they've been in years, and that means saving you money. We've been helping our customers become homeowners in this area for nearly 70 years, and we can make our approvals right here in the office, and that means saving you time. We're located here in downtown Sylacauga. Come in and find Southwest, a better way to bank.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by today and see us. Marble City Pharmacy, where your health comes first.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Welcome back to the Library Connection. I'm Tracy Thomas, and today our guest is Dr. Shirley Spears, and we've been talking about the Brown Bag series. It's our Winter 2018 series. It'll be kicking off on January the 17th at the Comer Library, and Dr. Spears has been telling us about the first program in the series featuring Buddy Simpkins and his musical friends, but I wanted to just cover quickly the format of the program. That we open the room, we call it our refreshment room. We open that room at 11 o'clock. And we have desserts, drinks, we have a whole spread that we put out. If you want to bring a brown bag with a sandwich, you can do that, but we have some extras that you can put with that. The room closes at 12 because we all move into the auditorium for the program to start at 12. So if you've got time and you can come spend a couple of hours with us, we'd love for you to do that and visit with your neighbors. But if you work and you can only get there at 12, then you're welcome to come at 12. And you know, we have sometimes the program might go a few minutes after 1, and people know that if they need to get up and leave, then they're free to do that. But we would love for you to be with us. And we mentioned getting on our mailing list, and I wanted to tell you, if you get on our mailing list, you'll get 2 things in the mail. You'll get the brochure itself, and then you'll get this piece. And this is a nice, just hang on your refrigerator schedule. So if you want to get on that mailing list, just contact us. But Dr. Spears, I'm going to turn it back over to you to talk about program number 2.
Well, this is a new presenter to us. I have not had him before. He does come highly recommended to me by people that I deeply respect. His name is John Sledge, and he's doing these rugged days, Alabama in the Civil War. And of course, Alabama has always been a little bit shortchanged in telling the story of our role in the war. We sort of get viewed through the lens of the bigger states, the bigger battles, and you know, they might tell about a division from Alabama or something like that. But John has studied for decades what happened on our soil. And I think people are going to find this sort of new slant really interesting to know kind of what was going on in Alabama. Some of it will be obscure stories that he sort of unearthed. While John is a stranger to me, he has quite a reputation. He is the architectural historian with the Mobile Historic Commission. And so he's written about Mobiles. He has books on the cemeteries, and he has books on the river. And so he's an accomplished historian. He also is the son of Eugene Sledge. And Eugene Sledge was at Montevallo until he retired. And he taught botany and biology, and he was a scientist, strangely enough. But he fought in the Philippines, and he wrote the Okinawa and Peleliu book. It's one of the foremost books that's ever been written on the war by an individual in the manner that he wrote that, a personal experience type of thing. And it's amazing that they say he never talked about the war and that he taught science, but that he did put this book together. It is at the B.P. Comer Library. I have read that book, and I think it's an astonishing book that I think people will they'll want to read it once they realize how important this account of the war is. But John, the son, went a different direction, and we did have a program on Eugene Sledge and Okinawa and Peleliu a few years ago with Henry, the other son. So this is kind of a family thing, and so I feel good about having John. I feel like I already know him. He lives in Fairhope, and I think he's going to do a wonderful job giving us a different take on the war.
Well, and then our next program, and you mentioned we have that book at the library, and that book's actually checked out right now because I was going to bring it to show it. But the next program on January the 31st is going to be Village Life, a memoir of people and places, and it's by John Williams. And I just wanted to show the book. We have the book. It's not a thick read, but it's a good read. And I just thought people might be interested in picking that up. And, you know, I'm going to let you tell what the program's about, but I will tell you, people love history and things that bring back memories. And this has got some Auburn history in it. And the other day we had an Auburn article out looking about the copper kettle explosion, and people were reminiscing about what they remembered about that. So these programs are sure to bring some memories.
Well, you know, I had several people that I just think, you know, that they're the best presenters we've ever had that told me about John Williams, because I never had heard of him. But he recently retired from teaching for many years at LaGrange College. He actually taught literature and language arts there for a long, long time, but apparently he's always been a storyteller. And so I looked up some of his writing, and he's written stories on Miss Rena Teal, the fortune teller, and he has great human interest stories that go much further than Auburn, the small town of Auburn. He did grow up in Auburn. If he's retirement age now, you know he's in his late 60s. So he grew up in Auburn a long time ago. And what I was told about his stories, they said, forget about Auburn. His stories are just universal. They're about the band director you knew, the coach you had, the dance instructor you had, those people who impacted your life. And I also heard from Rita Grimsley that I consider to be one of the best writers that I know anywhere. And Rita said that he had helped her write a play, and he was helping with the performances for that. So she said he is just about as good as I've ever heard. So anyway, I heard good things about him, and I'm interested in hearing him tell his stories and stories about people and places that inspired him to be better than he was. So I think it's going to be a really good program.
Well, you mentioned Rita Grimsley Johnson, and she is actually our next presenter on Wednesday, February the 7th. And interestingly enough, she actually did the foreword in his book here on Auburn. So
with great pride.
She is our next presenter on February the 7th.
Well, Rita's written lots of books, and we had her come in and do Hank Hung the Moon, where she did a program on Hank Williams about 4 years ago, I guess. And she just kind of fell in love with Sylacauga. She loved the marble. She liked Kreger. She just looked around and decided that she really liked Sylacauga. But Rita was a columnist for the Atlanta Constitution. She took Louis Grizzard's place there. So she's well known in her field, and she also wrote a syndicated column for a long time on just about anything that she took a notion to write about. So, you know, so many people have read Rita for years and enjoyed her. She just did a memoir, and I read it and I loved it. And one of her biggest fans is Ginger Clifton here in town, and Ginger read it and Ginger loved it too. So I decided that I would get in touch with her and see if she was interested in coming back, because she lives in Mississippi. She lives in a place called Fish Trap Hollow, and it's right there close to Iuka, Mississippi, where she now has a shop. She's retired, and she runs this little avant-garde place where she has performers and art and antiques, and she shows little films, and she's just doing something that she really loves and enjoys there in that place. But she seemed to be awfully glad to come back and talk about her latest book called The Dogs Buried Over the Bridge. And I think dog lovers, cat lovers, animal lovers in general will appreciate this book very much, because she talks about them as metaphors for her life. Her, as she says, her 3 husbands, her colorful life that she's had, the love, the loss, the things that have happened to her, measured sort of by benchmarks, her dogs. Maybelle, a dog that she loved, and Monster, and Humphrey, and Hugo, and Albert, and Moore. And those of you who've had pets that you loved and buried, you understand exactly where she's coming from. You remember eras with your pets. So I think that'll be a great story. I think people will really enjoy Rita.
I think a lot of people will connect with her theme. We've got 4 more wonderful programs to tell you about, and we're going to do that after we take a quick break.
Hi, it's Shawnee McNeil at South First Bank. This is a great time for you to buy or build a new home, or maybe refinance your present mortgage. Our rates are the lowest they've been in years, and that means saving you money. We've been helping our customers become homeowners in this area for nearly 70 years, and we can make our approvals right here in the office, and that means saving you time. We're located here in downtown Sylacauga. Come in and find South First, a better way to bank.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our knowledgeable pharmacists are always available for questions about your medications or advice on taking over-the-counter products and supplements. Our friendly staff can assist you in choosing from our full lines of compression hose and medical equipment. And don't forget our gift department. We have a great selection of unique gifts for every occasion. Stop by today and see us. Marble City Pharmacy, where your health comes first.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
Welcome back to the Library Connection. I'm Tracy Thomas. Today we're talking with Dr. Shirley Spears, and we're talking about our Winter 2018 Brown Bag Series. And we've talked about several of the programs. There are 8. We have 4 left to tell you about. And I'm going to let you start back with our great program that we're excited about on February the 14th.
I think everybody in this area is so proud of the Talladega College Choir. And, you know, there are almost 100 members, and they've played at some of the most exciting venues in the country. And I think they went to the inaugural something this last time. And they're just really, really well known for their talent and for their devotion to what they do and their expertise. So we asked for Dr. William S. Mitchell is their director. He's been there since 2013. We asked, or Tracy actually contacted and talked to him about this, and she told him that we didn't have room for the choir, but that we would like to have their ensemble, which is about 20 of their members that he puts together to go out and do small venues. So they'll have about 20 people coming in, and they do gospel during February, which is a heritage month for them. It's Black History Month. And they do gospel music during February. So he told her that that's what they do and that's what they would be bringing in, which is fine with us. We think that will be a wonderful program for our particular audience, that they will really love that. So Dr. Mitchell, about 20 of the Talladega College Choir, will be there on Valentine's Day. So it should be a lovely day, and if you don't have any other plans for your Valentine that day, just come down and have refreshments with us and enjoy listening to the Talladega Choir Ensemble. Tracy, I appreciate you getting in touch with him on that, because he stays gone. He's been gone a good bit.
He's kind of hard to get in touch with, but oh man, he's so gracious, and he's really excited about them getting to come. And so we're looking forward to it. I think it'll be a wonderful program. The next program is on Wednesday, February the 24th, and this is going to be featuring Terry Robbins. And I know this is another musical type program, but I'm going to let you talk about what he's going to do featuring George Jones.
All right, Terry Robbins he did Merle Haggard with us before. We really like Terry a lot. He can sing.
He can.
And he plays the guitar. He's a good musician, but he's also a songwriter. He belongs to the Sylacauga Songwriter Association here in town. We kind of found out about him because they did a showcase with us for our program one time, and he, Terry just kind of stands out in that he really does a great job of singing songs that you like to hear. He does pretty love songs, and so he's won some big awards. He's won an award for, in 2015, he won Long Live the Fiddle and the Steel. He won a big country music CD of the year from the National Traditional Country Music Association. Well, he just won another award on something called New Memories, and I noticed on Facebook, since I wrote this blurb, Terry has won another award.
Yes.
I can't remember what the name of the song was, but he's a great guy. He's fun to work with. Tracy always puts a lot of time in with Terry, and they put their heads together and come up with good pictures, and he tells the story of the artist. And with George Jones, I don't think George Jones needs any introduction, whether you like him or whether you don't like him. His best known of his four wives was Tammy Wynette, and his best favorite song, best known, is He Stopped Loving Her Today. I've always liked George Jones for his talent. He is really he's the country music singer's country music singer. You know, they really admire him. They think his voice is outstanding, and he's got some horrible nicknames like Possum, but I didn't pay that any attention. I don't even see that. But he was no show. He had problems with alcohol, came from lowly beginnings. Same story that you hear about a lot of people who make it good in the country music world. But anyway, Terry's going to do a good job. He'll tell us about him. He'll show pictures. He'll sing his songs. What more can you ask for?
Yep. And Terry's just a prime example that we've got hidden talent all over our area that just needs to be dug up.
He's from Clay County.
Glad he surfaced for us. The next program we have on Wednesday, February the 28th, is featuring Ruth Cook, who already has such a great relationship with the library.
Ruth Cook is a wonderful presenter, and she is doing our Marble History book. We're almost there with that. It'll be coming out probably this year. She's been working on that for about 8 years and looking at the history of marble. But before that, Ruth, she really has done well in the writing world and written some other books. And one of those books is called The Guest Behind the Barbed Wire. And that is about Camp Aliceville, Alabama, where 6,000 German POWs were housed. And you had about 1,000 people that worked with them. So her story of Aliceville is just so interesting, and she has done that for us before, but it has been nearly 12 years since she did that story at the Comer Library. And I look forward to hearing it again, because she has continued to look at that story, and people get in touch with her, people from Germany, And there's a pilgrimage, a continual pilgrimage to Aliceville with relatives and people who come back to Alabama to see where their relatives were incarcerated and treated so well. There's good memories of Camp Aliceville, and it's just a great story about humane treatment of the enemy.
Well, when I was thinking about this, I thought it just makes you think I'm so proud to be Southern and Southern hospitality. We treated people that we didn't have to treat well. And
right.
So I think it'll be a really good story. And then we always wrap up with Dolores Hydock, and we'll be wrapping up on Wednesday, March the 7th with her. And she's one of those that if you've ever seen her, it doesn't matter how many times you've seen her, you're going to love it.
It doesn't matter. I wish I could have her come in more times per year, but she does close out every series for us. She likes Sylacauga and loves the B.B. Comer Library. And she enjoys telling her stories to our particular audience because they love her so much. I don't mind telling you that people will come in from all over to see her. She'll have a following from Birmingham, from Pell City, from Auburn and Prattville, and all around. People will be coming in to see Dolores tell stories because she's high ticket. If you go see Dolores in Birmingham, you'll pay $25 to see her. But she's gracious enough to concede to the fact that we're a public library and that we can't pay a lot of money for her to come, and she just enjoys doing it for the audience in Sylacauga. She won't tell me much about what she intends to do. She likes the surprise element, as most storytellers do. So she just told me that her stories would be called It Could Happen. And she said, I'll be doing stories of hope and possibility. Well, when you start writing a blurb about that, you really wonder what to say about it. So the only thing that I could think of to say was that you don't have to hope that she'll tell a good story, and there is no possibility that she'll tell a bad story.
That's true.
And I always like to say that if you've ever seen Dolores before, you'll come if you can. If you never have seen her, then you need to give it a try and see what everybody's talking about, because she's loved by men and women alike. Sometimes I think we have more men come to see Dolores than we do women because they enjoy hearing her stories no matter what they're about. So I can't say how grateful I am to have her to give us priority and reserve that Wednesday. That's the last program in our series. Every winter and every fall, Dolores does that for us. And long live Dolores.
We've got about 1 minute left, and quickly, Dr. Spears, I wanted to just say that, the brown bag programs, we do this series twice a year. We do it at the beginning of the year. We do it again to close out the end of the year. And this is the time we focus on adults. We focus on education, enrichment, and entertainment for our adults. We dedicate our whole summer to our children, and we dedicate our story time each week to our children, and this is something that we do for our adults. And so I hope that if you've not been, that you will come out and give it a try. I think if you come to one, I think you'll be hooked.
Well, I had a lot of time to work on it this time because Tracy's doing a wonderful job running the B.B. Comer Library, so that gives me a good bit of time to dream and to think, and thank you for the opportunity, Tracy.
Well, thank you for all the work you've put into it, and again, I just want to mention South First Bank. We appreciate Randy Fields and Chris Kramer. One of them usually is there each week to represent, and we appreciate them so much for investing in this series that adds so much to the quality of life in our area. We thank you as well for joining us today, and we'll see you next week on the Library Connection.